Hi, this is Charlie giving you Friday's live trading, and I hope you're very well. The time is just about 7:30, so I'm watching this dollar yen here this morning. I want to get long on it. It's running away from me a little bit at the moment. I wanted to get long into the lower bands really, so I might actually put 1 unit in now, just in case it completely runs away from me this morning. So I'm going to get 1 unit in. I'm going to go in with 6 units like I can nowadays, going with 6 lots. So I've just put one lot long here at '09. And hopefully, that's like a throwaway trade at the moment, a throwaway lot at the moment. Just as a worst case scenario, if it just goes, then and I can't get in on, doesn't do a decent enough retracement, then worst case scenario is I'm in with one lot. So, but hopefully we can get a retracement. So I've put that one lot in there. So let's just bring up the account. There's nothing else on here at the moment. I've not been doing any swing trades or anything at the moment. Not with non-farm payrolls out today. I've stayed out now. So we're going to put the stop loss in there. It's going to be a relatively tight stop, so somewhere a bit below 120, I think. So I'll just put that in for now. 119.98. Let's put it down there for now, and then I'll have another look at it. So it's only going to be a sort of a 10 pip stop, I think, roughly, or 11 pip stop. So that's all there is to do there at the moment, and so we carry on watching this. It's 7:30 or so. I want to see how this is going to look after 8 o'clock when the new pivots come in, but so far I'm seeing the potential for this one to run up to around about 120.28, that area. We shall see. I'll press pause for now. We'll come back to this. It's right. Okay, just back, and it's come down to the lower bands now, so I'm just getting these extra units in. So I've got one, that's 3 in total now, so I want to get 4 in now. So I've got 4 in total now, and then I'm holding back 2 for if it comes back down to slightly lower levels. We've got an 8 a.m. pivots down that will be coming in somewhere a bit lower. So I'm just staggering my entries at the moment. I wanted to get the bulk of them in, and just in case it doesn't retrace any further. I think there's been other weeks when it hasn't retraced far enough. So so I've got 4 units in now. So let's get these shown so we can get the stops and everything done. So I said 98, but I put that in when I did that first unit, but that was I don't think that was quite right. So I'm going to put that down another pip. So on my account it's 97, which would be for the traders in our room 96, 9.97. So just getting those stops in on these 4 units. Like I said, I'm still looking to potentially add another one in yet. So it's not going to be anything too huge. It's going to be about 10 pips stop outs if I'm wrong on this. I'm watching cable off screen actually, and cable is having a half decent run at the moment. So I'm watching that one with interest. So let's bring up the pound dollar. As we can see, it's having a half decent run at the moment. So I'm watching this one with interest at the moment. I'm basically waiting to see how it's going to close at 8 a.m. and then I'll take it from there. So now there is some construction PMI figures out on the pound this morning, on the sound of the pound in the UK economy this morning, so which could affect the pound. So we'll have to see whether I get that opportunity to trade the pound or not. Anyway, back to the dollar yen, because that's what the one I'm in at the moment. Let's if I can find it, dollar yen. Okay, I'm going to press pause for now. Back in a bit. Okay, just back. Just while it, oh yeah, here it goes. So I didn't manage to get those last 2 units in. I thought they were going to come in. The pivot was going to come in at 02. It was actually at 120 dead, and so 8 a.m. was around about here, and so it's not got down to that level. So we scratch that now. Now we've come back up and effectively at a double top at the moment. If it was to come back down now, I would leave that pivot alone anyway. So I'm in with the 4 units, the 4 lots. What I do need to do is, if it starts to break up, is to start moving these stops up. I actually moved them down a pip because I had them at 97. When I realized where that pivot was exactly going to be coming in, had to move the stops down a pip just to give it that little bit of slack, because sometimes it can come down to a level. If the level's at 120, my stop's at 97, it could have been a little bit tight there. So So we'll be looking to move these stops up. So where am I going to move them to? Just back up to sort of 98, 99 for now. Yeah, I can move them up to 99 actually. So let's push those stops up to 99. So 99 on my account here means that I'd still get stopped out at about 98. But you know, by having the stops up there, we've broken up there, only just, but we've broken out here. So we're now putting in that sequence of high highs, high lows so far. So if it was to come back down now and break this low, then you know something else is probably going on. Hence why I'm moving that stop up. So in theory, I could move the stop up to that level, but for now I'm leaving it at 99. So really at 99, remember that first entry was at 09, so it's 10 pips off the first entry. The other entries are all at 06. So it's only 7 pips from there. So the actual risk is minimal. It was minimal even at 11 pip stops. So the risk is fairly minimal on dollar yen here today. But like I think I've already said, the target's up at 28. Then I do have a secondary target around about between 40 and 45. So if we get to 28, I'll bank these first lot of take 3 units off, and then hold on to a unit to see if we get up to that 45 level. So and basically 28 is yesterday's highs, so that's into yesterday's highs at 28. It's also the daily R1 pivot, and 45 is when we go out to the 4-hour chart is it's actually not 48.5 now, it's at 40. We'll call it 40 itself. It's saying 43 is the 4-hour 200. So I'll show you that. Let's bring up the chart and change the time frame. So the 4-hour 200 is be the next logical target. It's the one that's sloping down. My dotted blue line here is my 100 MA, and in theory that's a resistance as well. But it's been chopping around either side of that, so I'm not as fussed about that. Being hit several times anyway, even just the last couple of hits got rejected, but anyway, it's done that. So if we get to 28, I might as well see if I can hold on with a unit and see if we can get up to this level here, this 200 on the 4-hourly chart. So that's the plan. So not much more to do at this stage. Have I done that right? Yeah. Actually we can move the stop up, can't we? So we can move the stop up another pip. I'll turn the mic off and move that stop up. Right, just back. Seen a potential opportunity here on cable. Let's see if I can get rid of that. The dollar yen will show in a minute. It's still moving at the moment. Let's get some units ready. The pound dollar. I'll put them onto half lots and see if we can get long. So long cable here at 63 and 64. Sorry, and I've been really late to the party here. While I was getting the recording software up, it was down here at 60, so not the best of levels. I'm going to keep the stop really tight. I want it to basically be reacting from this outer band here and not really coming much further. It's already come over it a little bit, so I'm going to put a stop at 55 and just see what happens. It's obviously going to be a very tight one, so I'm just going to get that stop in and just see if it can get back up there. So let's get the stops sorted out. Move these up a little bit, see if we can get rid of that. Let's move these stops, get these stops in place. 150, 155. So I'll be out very quickly with a small loss if I get stopped out on it. So 155. We got positive momentum, so it's the momentum's firing up, but it is just on this news, so we'll see. It's just hit some resistance as well. So what I'm looking to see if it can break through that resistance. So would have been a much better entry at around about 60, but see if it can break through that resistance. So looking for 151.80 is going to be the level. So we'll see if it can get up there. So it's not going to be anything huge, but 80 will be the first target anyway, and then we'll see after that. So we'll see if it can get up there. I'll press pause for now. Oh, actually, whilst I'm here, I might as well have a look at this dollar yen again, because dollar yen pulled back. Let's have a look, see what it's up to. Yeah, it had a bit of a pullback. Remember, our stops are around about 120 now, 19.99 probably. So it's done a pullback, and we've just been sat through it really. And us in the trading room, we're just having a chat here this morning, and so still waiting to see if it's going to get up there and break out. But we'll wait and see on that. Let's go back and have a look at the pound. Okay, still sitting there. I'll press pause for a minute. Okay, so that didn't last very long. It bounced for a bit and then has come back down to my stop. So I didn't want to be in it. And hopefully this is not just a pullback to this prior high, only for it to then go higher again. But it's putting in a nasty candle on the 15-minute chart, a big sort of a big upper wick. So gave it a small go, a go with a small amount. So I've lost £66 on that cable trade. And so it's not really costing me too much. So it's all very small at the moment today. Still waiting on this dollar yen, see if it's going to break out. Let's go and have another look at it. It's trying, but we've still got that. Like I said, it's about 28 is the upper target. So giving that cable a bit of a go, but hasn't worked out. So we're still waiting to see if dollar yen can push up towards that target. And maybe cable. Maybe I have got sometimes you can get nicked out on a trade like cable, and for it to still go higher again, and it just does a deeper retrace, like I said. But I wanted to keep that one relatively tight there, and so giving it enough slack. I thought that all it needed to do was to hit the outer bands here, and then to go again. It had all the momentum firing up, but it's but it came deeper, so no longer of interest to me. So we carry on watching this dollar yen, see if it can break out at some point here today. I'll press pause for now. Okay, just back, and so the dollar yen was just pushing up here just a few minutes ago. It's just backing off again now. It could be that it wants to roll over. I've moved my stop up to below this low now, to 02, and it could be that it wants to roll over now. We're into mid-morning. It's at 10, we're about basically 5 to 10 now. So it's had its chance and to go up, and it has gone up, but not enough. We're on non-farm payroll days. The concern is now that as we're getting into mid-morning, that it's run out of gas and it's just going to come back and trade back within this prior price action, as potentially we're just running out of gas and we're not going to get much of a run. So it could well be that it rolls over and stops out. But I'm not going to do anything with it. Still sitting in it. I'll just see what happens. It's not going to be a big stop out if it rolls over anyway. So I'll just let it do whatever it's going to do. I shall be back later on. Okay, just back. I've been down the gym. It's creeping its way up here this morning. It's now 25 past 11. It's taken a long time. I'm going to start trading this stop up a little bit more. I'm going to move it up to this low. This low here is 08, so I'm going to move the stops up just below there. So effectively now, whatever happens, I can hardly lose on this trade if I get that stop up to. On this platform, I have to move it to 08 because that will then mean I'll get stopped out at 07. So I'm moving my stops up to those lows. So whatever happens now on this trade, at least it means that then actually my powder's dry for the non-farm payrolls coming up today. So whatever happens, I can't really lose on this going into non-farm payrolls. The target still remains up at 28, so we're 8 pips away, but it feels it's really labouring today because of that. So we're just going to have to see. I mean, very quickly this could pull back, but I've given it a go here today. It's always a shame when you're up a bit to then potentially have to give it back, but you have to run things to the target. What could be a real dilemma, I think I mentioned this earlier on, is if we then start to pull back and chop around. It's 25 past 11 now, and we get into sort of 12:30, 1 o'clock. I'm going to have to make that decision on whether to bail out of this ahead of the non-farm payrolls. So I'm hoping that this can get up there to those levels up there. Say about it's 28 on the chart, so it'd be in reality 26, 27 would be the level I'm looking for. So it's about 6-7 pips away. Not too far, but it feels like it's taken an eternity to get there today. So 6 or 7 pips is, let's bring the pen up for example, it doesn't feel like a lot, but 6 or 7 pips is the distance between that and that. Now look how long it's taken to do those 6 pips there off or whatever. Quite a long time. So it just sort of puts it into perspective. So it still require a decent couple of candles to get up there based on the volatility today. Anyway, I'll press pause for now. Okay, just back. We just popped up another pip. I'm actually going to take a unit off here, and as we've come up a pip, so I'm coming out, just taking 1 unit off there. Bank that for 14 pips. So whatever happens now on this trade, it will be a marginal small gain. It sort of pays for the cable trade that I lost on earlier on as well. but I just spotted that we were up into the 4-hour 100 MA again. So let's go and have a look at that again on the 4-hour chart. Oops, if I can get this to come up. Here we are onto this blue dotted line again. I've just spotted it, and I know it's been rejected a few times, and then prior to that it's been just chopping either side. But just in case it gets rejected here again, ahead of the non-farm payrolls, I've just decided, and we've just hit a I never even really bother with 4-hour pivots. We've hit a 4-hour R2 pivot, but considering how much this is labouring today, I've taken that unit off there. So let's have a look at that again. So I've just banked that £79 there. So that will pay for the loss on cable. And so if we do roll over, then whatever happens, I'll be net flat for the day until obviously on-farm payrolls. I'll press pause for now. Okay, just back. We've got a little what we call an extreme play in play at the moment. So what we're looking for is to see if price can come back up to these highs here, and then I'm going to be loosening off some contracts actually, because we're getting into lunchtime and we can't hold on to this forever because of the non-farm payroll is going to be coming out. So, but in the meantime, I'm going to start really trailing this stop up now to 15. So I'm moving this stop up to 15. So we're locking a little bit in. It's not going to be great, but we'll move that stop up to 15 across the board here. So stops are going up to 15, and which actually at the moment 15 is still 14 on mine. That should be 16, shouldn't it? So I'll move that to 16. Sorry, 16 means I get stopped out at 15. So it's the way that it's done on the bid on here. Excuse for the background noise. Got builders are in at the moment. Okay, so move the stops there, but if we can come up, then I'll take 2 of these contracts off if we can come back up to this green bar. So that's what we're looking at there. I'll press pause for now. Okay, just back, and I'm really trailing this stop up now. Wanted it to come up for these highs, so I've moved the stops right up, you can see now, to 19, and just seeing now, so I've put it just below this lot, and if it comes down now, then fine, I just want to be out because we're into lunchtime. I've got to be out of this trade before the non-farm payrolls, so we just want to see if this can get back up to this closing price over here on this candle over here, which is about 24. It's at 22 now. We're waiting for 2 pips, but the trailing stops have been moved to 19. So if it stops out now, then at least we've got a bit of a gain for the morning. Not anything whoop-de-doo, but something for the morning anyway. And on non-farm payroll days, sometimes I don't even get to trade in the mornings or whatever. So to have something out of the market is better than nothing. So I'll press pause for now. Okay, just back, and I have just been trading stops as it's nicked down here. So that's it for now on that trade. So let's have a look at it. So remember, I lost £66 on the pound earlier on. Let's bring up this up so you can see everything. So on that pound trade, remember we lost £66 this morning, but made £260 here. So I'm up a net £200 at the moment. So, but anyway, it's going into non-farm payrolls, up a net 200. You never know what's going to happen when we actually get to non-farm payrolls. It could completely reverse yet. So I'll press pause. We're at 18 minutes and see what we get if I do get anything on non-farm payrolls. Now I've just realised that my mute. I don't know for certain, but I've just noticed that my mic had the mute button switched on. So I don't know if the last few minutes of recording I was doing with the mute switched on. So I do apologise on that. If that is the case, I've gone long Aussie dollar, and I'm sitting on this and I'm laughing about all these other markets because they've all flown up and the Aussies sort of struggled a little bit. It's come up, but then it's sort of struggled a bit. So I don't know until this recording's finished whether I'd only just muted it when after I last came off the mic or not. I do not know. If that's the case, I do apologise. But anyway, so I'm long Aussie dollar, and I was clicking the Aussie dollar off screen whilst I was looking at cable and deciding whether to trade cable or not. But so I am long Aussie dollar, and we're just going to see what happens with this. I was saying that if we can get into the 60s, then I'll start peeling some profit off. So I'm just waiting to see what's going to happen on that, and I do hope that I haven't got a flat spot in the in the audio. Anyway, I'll press pause for a second. Okay, so Aussie dollar's not looking great here. My stop's down just at 15, so I'm going to lose probably about £1,000 on this. So it's going to be a net loss of about £800 for the day if that's going to come down and take me out there. Real shame because it's got good potential. I'll bring the account up as and when I get stopped out. But I thought the Aussie dollar had really good potential. Mind you, it's bouncing again now. I've said this, but yeah, it's really come down quite low here, so I suspect it's going to roll over. So I've put my stop at that bit lower, so I've got to allow for the volatility, but I'm looking for some decent upside on this as well. So I wouldn't be looking to take everything off here today, even if it did get to go up there, but I can't see it happening. It's just a real shame because it fired off a bit like cable and euro. So because I'd seen Aussie dollar fire off, I wanted to be on the long side of Aussie dollar because the daily chart was starting to look like it reasonably bullish. It had been coming up for the last several days. I still think overall then there might be some more potential on Aussie dollar, but obviously from an intraday perspective I've got to manage that risk, so I can't put huge stops down there and risk thousands of pounds on that account. So but it's a shame that it's pulled back when, if we look at the pound dollar holding up there quite nicely, euro dollar holding up there quite nicely, so Aussie dollar doesn't. So obviously the Aussie might be affected in line with the dollar yen, because they have been moving a little bit in sympathy with each other. But the dollar, the Aussie dollar started out going higher and then thought twice about it. So we'll see. It's still not over yet, as we can see, but certainly it's starting to look a little bit weaker. I'm tempted to go out for a run and just see what happens. I quite like. I'm not in the room anymore. I've been in the room all morning with the guys, and so quite like just leaving a market alone. There's nothing more for me to do with it, and just see what happens. So it's very tempting. I was going to go out for a run this afternoon at some point, and sometimes you just think, okay, well, sometimes you're better off, you're better served just walking away from a market if you're looking for it to go to a certain level, rather than just giving commentary on it the whole time. We're 30 minutes into this. I'd better press pause. Okay, just back, and as we can see, Aussie dollar's coming down, and I've just been ripped apart on that one in the sense that it had a nice run up and it's giving it all back and it's just rolling over, so the momentum switched to the downside. So turned out to be a bit of a nastier day, as it turns out. So okay, 1,097 on that, plus or minus 66, so we'll call that what's that, 1,150. Take off the 259, so it's a bit more than I thought actually. Let's call it 900 down for the day. So a larger loss, but not anything too drastic. But I'm more just disappointed that the Aussie dollar didn't follow through, because it was all looking so good. A bit like the pound and the euro, they've had such great runs, but they've held on to theirs. And look, this Aussie dollar is still rolling over at the moment. So I'm going to call that a wrap for the day. And so it's a shame, but that's the way it goes. I'll leave you to it. Have a great weekend. Back on Monday.